All right.
I was telling me which high sport in the United States is mostly the
You
computer.
did get one of these. All this really is, and I'll kind of remind everybody, is a list of certified plumbers in the area. At the time it was created. There's, okay. So what this is a list of certified plumbers. Now granted, this list could have been created a month ago and that will change in time, but for the most part, these plumbers have been in the area and I've scanned through it. I've worked with a lot of these plumbers on this list, so pretty reputable list. The county certified these as certified plumbers, so you're not looking at a list of people who are fly-by-night type companies. They've established themselves in the county. Does that mean they're all inexpensive? No, they're plumbers. Does it mean that they're fit? Because like Apollo Beach Plumbing's on here, and I can tell you Apollo Beach Plumbing doesn't want to do what we're asking. So the first question is, what are we asking? As a group, most of the people in this room, and if your backflow device that's on the front of your home has been buried underground, you don't need to be here. If it's not, this is an opportunity for you as a group to get a bulk pricing with a plumber, obviously off this list because they need to be certified. Buying in the power of volume to get the price down so that you're going to get it as inexpensive as possible and meet the county code for the backflow. A few years ago, or possibly a little over a year ago, the community did this as a group. At that time, the county was recommending that it be done. They also gave some discounts on the permitting. They allowed you to do bulk permitting, a few permits at the same time for neighboring homes. They made the discount a little better. Unfortunately, when I spoke with the county, they're not offering that at this time. That was a timed area where they said, hey, we want everybody to switch, so we're going to give them a discount. Anybody who didn't do it at that time, sorry. So the permit cost is $80 to get the backflow device replaced. That's something that you're not going to be able to negotiate. What can be negotiated is the labor cost with the plumber. The material cost is going to be what it's going to be. He's able to work his markup. But what it comes down to is finding a plumber who's certified, who will do, as a group, as many people as you can get at the same time to do this, and get a group rate to get these done.
When you're saying $80 per permit, is that per household?
Yes, it is.
So that's a given.
Yes,
And that
absolutely. Each backflow. Back when they were doing this for it, the two that were together could be pulled at a permit as a single permit. You no longer can do that.
But it wasn't the two together, Jason, it was
The dwelling.
The dwelling.
Right. So if you had a four unit, 2 unit, they're not doing that anymore. The county said that was a kind of a grace period to get these done because you have communities like this. Now they're saying, no, it's $80 per unit. So any plumber that comes in to do this, they're going to have to go down to the county, submit for a permit, pull that permit, pay the $80 fee, come out, do the work, get it inspected, and then it's complete. So that's where we're at.
Is this required by the county?
No.
Is it just not required in here either by the
No.
So, because I inquired about what you're doing before and asked Kathy, who's requiring this when they come up with the price? Is the county gone? So is HOA making? No. What's it for? It's the one of the landscapers. No, I said.
Let's go beyond the landscapers. People have said that, and it is helpful for landscaping because they bump into it, they cause leaks on it, and guess who's responsible for it if the landscaper breaks your backflow? By the covenants, you are. So is it work? Sure.
On that particular point. So if I back out of my driveway and my neighbor's across the street, he's responsible?
Technically, yes. It's part of his property. Now, he can take you to small claims court and have you pay for
And
it.
we can't do that with our vendors. Or our vendors aren't insured to cover them.
It's not an insurance issue. You would have to take them to small claims court as well to have that paid for. That is an association decision in the covenants, that those backflow and any plumbing that is, and it's any plumbing that's part of your unit. After it leaves the main line and goes towards your unit, it becomes your responsibility. And it's just like if, in my community, we don't have maintenance-free community. It's the same responsibility there. If my neighbor backs over my box, and I'll give you, for instance, a truss truck came in when we were building, backed over my water meter. My water meter box was sunken into the ground. I chased him down and I got him to fix it, but it was on me. The builder was like, sorry, you know, it's not, we're not, and that's why we're here to try to help with this, is because even though it is your responsibility, you are a community as a group, and as the community, your HOA is kind of the center point of that. Now, is this our responsibility to do? No, but it is a good, you know, as far as a community to bring you together, this is a great opportunity for you guys to save money. The reasons for doing this are a couple things. One, you put it underground, it does protect it better. It keeps the landscapers and the people who could run over it, the mailman, anybody, your neighbor backing up over it, you know, some kid that comes by to see their grandparents that's acting a little crazy and runs it over, all those things that happen that cause these backflows. And this is one of the reasons the county was like, we gotta find a better way. This is not the best system to do. We're having all these issues, plus the sun beats down on them, they dry out, and then the little pressure valve that's in there ends up drying up. And then, like when we had the water line break, we shut the water off, we turn it back on. As soon as it does, that surge causes that backflow device to fail. The county was nice enough, for those of you who had it fail, they're paying half of the cost of the replacement and repair of that. Let's hold the questions first. Let me get through, and then I'm going to go to questions. I just want to get through this section. Once you put it underground, there's another thing. The inline valve is less likely to fail. It has a higher rate of success than the above ground. It doesn't have the effects from the sun. It's an inline unit. It doesn't have all the different valves that are on it. It's more, if anybody knows hydraulics, it's like a check valve, as opposed to what we have now, which is a plunger. It's like a double-ended check valve with a plunger feature on it. It's too many moving parts for a pressured water system. The inline system is just simpler. It works better. There were a few people that had failures with an inline valve. We looked into those, found out that we had 3 people bring up that they had failures. One of them had failed prior to the water pressure issues, so that one doesn't count. The other 2 were not certain they were failing at that point, and it was more likely that they were just a bad unit. And that's gonna, you install them, you get a warranty on it if there's a bad unit, and you can watch your water gauge will flow when everything's turned off if it's failing. But the plumber would deal with that with you. But the inline unit has shown a much higher success rate, and it lasts a lot longer than the one that comes up out of the ground. The county when the county dictated that these be installed, at the same time they required every 2-year inspection on them. At that time, when they would come out and inspect them, if there was a bad seal or something, they would replace it. Well, because everybody in the county is going, you put something on our house that we got to pay a plumber $100 every 2 years to come out and look at this. Why is this happening? So the county said, well, we'll put a moratorium on it. Because the reality is, if the thing fails, the water just flows out the bottom, and you go out there and shut it off. So why is the county requiring you to inspect it when the failure portion of it still protects the county? So why are they making you do this? So the county put a moratorium. Now what happened is, nobody gets it inspected, so they end up dry rotting and failing. So the county, somebody came out with a better system, the county authorized it, and now they're saying, we recommend you do this because they've had less fail rates.
Didn't they take the entire requirement of having them off?
No, that's not true. And there was people that asked that question, that was not true. And you did have a question, I'm sorry.
Question, yes. I had mine 5 days after we had this experience, mine thing, and I had J&S plumber come. The technicians there, when I asked about putting it underground, they said, oh, we can't do that because if you put it underground, you don't know if there's a problem that's going to break. So I was confused by the same technician that's supposed to be able to do this, saying it's not smart to put it underground because you won't know if it's broken.
Different plumbers use different suppliers, have different materials, and different ideas. And that's just the reality.
Okay, because that really confused me.
Yeah, no. So J&S Plumbing, much like Apollo Beach Plumbing says, I don't want to touch any of them. J&S Plumbing may say, I only do the above ground ones because I don't know, because some people the county, when they put in the other ones, they completely buried them. How do you know they're broken? Your water bill goes up. They come out and they check it. If it's broken, the county gives you a safe on your. You had a question.
Yeah, I got a price from Henry Gonzalez.
Yes.
I got a price from him a couple weeks ago.
For the underground version?
June, yeah, to come in and take this thing out and put it in. He gave me a price of $379.
Okay.
Okay, I'm presuming that includes the permit, because he said he was gonna be here the next day to do it.
Yeah, it's a block.
He had several in.
Yeah.
Now, has anybody else gone out and gotten any prices from plumbers? I mean, are we?
Yes, so a couple different pricing issues that came up. One, there were people that the day that they were failing, they got pricing while the plumbers were out there, after hours, on a Friday, in an emergency situation. That price is off the chart. We don't need to discuss that price. The average price that we found is anywhere from $350 to $450 through the different plumbers we've talked to. Other people have gotten a similar pricing. You take, that's it, that's everything included. That's to do the work. And I think if you, as a community, if enough of you band together, you can get closer to that 350 range, and maybe even slightly, depending on what their costs are involved, you might be able to get lower. You should be less around that 450 range.
But then still have the $80.
No. That's all in. That's all in.
But who's gonna arrange this?
So,
I mean, if you're talking about us as a group, is somebody gonna take a lead, or will someone like you call and get something?
that's where I would get into. If there's enough people interested in doing this, and obviously there is, we're here. What we had proposed, and what this started as, was a couple people asking, and then, so we put the email out to see how many people were interested. There's a lot of you. If maybe 3 volunteers came in, I will work with them to get with these plumbers. I've worked in this area a long time, so if you trust me to run your community, I can help you pick a plumber. I've worked with a lot of these plumbers, and I've worked with pricing with them. And if we get it's easier to work with a small group when you do this than a large group. And we will put the communication out through the email system, and that's why we took all your names and we put you on a certain emailing list, so that as we get new information, when we send an email, we can send it just to that list, so the people who are interested would receive it. That information, and given some of the other issues going on in the community, I would need a few of you to assist me with this process, but I would definitely be hands-on with it and help finding plumbers.
There's just a couple of things I have on my list. So number one, we're gonna put it out to bid.
Right.
But before it goes out to bid, we will write a task order specifically stating what it is, house per house, what we are requiring to be done. In that, are any going to include, or we write in to the bid process, reps and warranties?
I would absolutely write it. I know based on the state of Florida, you're gonna get a 12-month warranty. Now, that's a performance warranty that any contractor who pulls a permit, part of the reason they pull a permit is to institute that 12-month state mandated warranty.
Okay.
So if you hire a plumber and they pull a permit, you have a 12-month warranty. They post a bond with the state to secure that.
All right, then something else that might be food for thought is, as all this old plumbing is coming out, that it be collected, you sell it for scrap, and rebate everybody who joins up. Wouldn't that then cut some costs?
If there's copper involved, it probably would. Some of the other materials, not so much, but if there's copper
Because
involved.
we know they're gonna do it.
Right, and that's something you would have to agree, because generally speaking, in plumber, when they do a demo on a job, they maintain the materials, and it's usually in their contract that they'll remove materials. The reason they say that is because if there's copper, it's like if I'm an air conditioning contractor and I'm removing your old air conditioner, I'm keeping it.
Right,
Just because, and I'm actually gonna charge you for disposal.
right.
But then I'm gonna get the copper. But it's, generally speaking, on plumbing, any type of demo, they say in there that they will remove materials and take outside. A lot of times they maintain the copper, but if you tell them up front, hey, we want the old plumbing, they're gonna go, fine, it's more work. For this little bit of plumbing, it's more work than it's worth to them. But if you have 50 people do it and you have enough copper sitting there, yeah, you could get some money, depending on the price of copper at that time.
Yes, the county replaced all the single families at
Yes.
the airport. and they're giving me the song and dance, the reason they don't do us is because we're on a master meeting.
Right.
And that doesn't really explain to you why they won't
Okay.
do ours.
So here's what happens in the multifamily area of this community. The single-family area plumbing, up into the backflow device, is controlled and maintained by the county. If on the other side of your backflow it breaks, the county will come out and fix that portion. If it's on your side of the backflow, you get it repaired with a plumber. That's the way it works in single family. In the multifamily, the backflow device, I think it's down at the end of Falls Boulevard, the county maintains up until that device. Everything beyond that device, and then there's a meter just past that meters all the water that goes into the multifamily area. All of that plumbing is owned and maintained by the community, up into your backflow device. The community pays another company to come out and read that meter, and then read your meter, and do the calculation of how much you owe for water. They pay Hillsborough County for the water, then your bill that goes to them gets discounted, it gets sent back to the community. So basically what's happening is, because the state of Florida does not allow an association to sublet or resell public utilities, you have to hire a company like we have coming in here that reads the meter and basically says, your bill's $75, so you pay $75 to me, and then I give it back to the HOA, because the HOA paid the master meter. So all that plumbing, the plastic that's underground, the metal that's underground, everything from that backflow, because the county says that's it, we end right here. Everything from there to your backflow is my responsibility to take care of. And that's the separation. On the multifamily side, the county owns right up into their backflow.
Why was it done that way?
Generally, only thing I can think of is, one, there were two different developers in here. There's obviously there's two different backflow devices in here. It just had, the only thing I imagine they were originally planning to put the, like water and those sort of things into the association dues, the association fees, and then those items change, and the covenants may have changed back in the beginning, so now they had that backflow in there, and the county, they had already taken over that. So the only thing I can imagine is the development idea was one way, and then they changed the idea, so now you've got this separated type of service in there.
See, I asked one of the board members, have they ever contacted the county about taking it over?
Right.
I've lived in several other places, and the county will take over the roads and stuff after they'll come in and inspect, well, you need to repair the curbing, but whatever. So why won't the county, the board members said they refuse, that's all private. Well, they had to put it in according to Florida law.
Right, yeah, it was inspected by the
So
county.
why won't they take it over?
That I can look into, I don't know. It's not something that's been, since I've been here, it's not been a major issue to tackle. But I understand what you're saying, why not?
If we have a major blowout, we're gonna have to pay for it.
The community will, yes. So that water line break we had, we were fortunate in the fact that it was the county's issue. So they came in, they dug it up, they fixed it, they put the dirt back and work.
So it's not really, I guess, the HOA I'm complaining about. But if somebody's got connection with one of the commissioners or something, my question is Valencia Lake. I understand the county's replacing Berry and all theirs, so some of them.
Right, just like they did here on the single family side.
And if somebody has some contact with Valencia Lake, do they have, I know they've got villas because I looked at five. Are they county, are they bearing theirs, or have they taken over?
Yeah, we'd have to find that. Now, I do know, next week, the board members are sitting down with the board members from Valencia Lakes, and I can ask them to bring that up in the conversation. They're putting together a group just to, because of issues like this, there's no communication between Valencia and here, or even Del Webb and Bradenton. So they're putting together a group of like communities, similar type communities, to board members can meet and kind of bounce ideas of what they're having issues with, so that, I could put that.
Because we're paying taxes, the same as the single-family homes are, to the county.
Right.
And so, I mean, that's why, and they can't come in and say, well, there's substandard piping.
Right.
Well, you was the one, you was
Yeah,
the inspector.
you inspected it, yeah.
I mean,
No, and all good points and things that, as the manager of the community, there's a lot of the board kind of drives a lot of those to tackle. I kind of whatever they come up with, I'm the driver to make sure it happens. But I will definitely ask, because John Higgins has heading up that other group, and I will ask him to speak with
well,
him
I've
about
asked
it.
two different ones, and, oh no, they live in the county, we've done tried.
County's
No,
been
I
tough
don't
for
think
years.
we tried very hard,
County's been tough for years. This deal with the backflows, when they burst, the fact that they came out and paid for half of them, it honestly surprised me. But the guy that heads up that county division was very nice to talk to, and he was like, yeah, it's not my responsibility. And he quoted, bylaws. He said, it's not our responsibility, but I know we could have done a little better. I'm going to do what I can to take care of it.
They cracked the valve wide open, the water hammer
Right.
all through there. I mean, that's what,
Right.
that was the weak point.
Question, if, for example, we're a small group here, that if we decide to all do this, what about the rest of the community that still has a backflow above ground, and they haven't had an issue yet? Is the county at some point going to require us all to be underground?
There's several ways this could go. And not to, but down the road, the county could say, you know what, we don't need them at all anymore. I don't foresee that happening. It does serve a purpose. I don't see that happening. However, the county doesn't require you to put it underground because any device like that, you're grandfathered in. Now, they can require new construction to put it underground. They can require, if yours breaks, to put it underground, but they can't come through to you and say, yours is working, but we're gonna make you put it underground. That's something they can't do. But they can say, next time it's fixed, or next time you go have work done on it, it has to be
Next time
better.
it's failed, yeah.
Next time it does.
Because I know people are saying like, if I don't replace it now, and we all get a good deal, and the people in the rest of the community are gonna complain, well, I'm gonna do it now, and I can't get on this deal because the deal's passed.
Right, and that's the same, you guys are this is the second go-around of trying to push a deal. The deal's not gonna be as good as last time. One, because it's a different year and prices go up. The other, because the county's no longer given those discounts and opportunities on the permit. So you're kind of at a next step.
Okay, as I understand it, everybody, houses, single family, we all own from the flow valve, whether it's above ground or underground, to our house. Everybody is responsible for that section.
Right.
Okay, if you bury it, and, okay, your water bill goes up, that's the only way you know, otherwise you have a puddle in your yard, maybe. Somebody has to come in and dig it up. Do we hire the plumber to come in, and then they say, oh, it's on that side, not your side?
They're in a box.
Yeah, the ones the county did were buried completely. They are taking responsibility for those. Yours, when you do it, and we would make sure this happens, they put it in a box, so when you lift the box and there's the valve. I wish I had the picture, it was kind of hard to see, but it's in a box. When you open it up, that valve is in there. You can see both
Oh,
ends
it's
of the valve.
exposed to the surface?
Right, well, yeah, it's like any of the water meter locked main boxes you see now.
Oh, it's buried, so, I mean, it's
It's
buried.
buried, but it's in a box, so that you can get to an access.
Oh, how big is it? How big is that box? So we're gonna have in the middle, probably, whether the middle or the side, we're gonna have this thing that is not gonna have grass on it and be ugly as hell.
It's gonna be black. You have them now.
You have it.
You have them now.
Yes, and they're all broken because of the way the landscape.
I understand that, and we're working on that because that company was supposed to come and replace those.
I mean, if you go through, there's hills and valleys because of the way these are set in the ground.
I understand, and that I cannot control. And if you don't like that, you can opt out of this and you don't have to do it. But the next time there's a water meter change, I can tell you, and I spoke to the man, he's not gonna pay for it next time. He's gonna tell you that if you do not get that underground version, he's like, this is it. I'm not paying for it anymore. If we have to fix a water valve, I don't care if my guys slam the valve open, it's your responsibility. That's just the county. And he has the right, and he has the right to do that. He was gracious to pay half this time because they see that there was, it could have been handled better. but they're not required to. They, valve open, valve close, that's all they have to do.
Have they said when they're gonna pay?
The people who put in their thing, it usually takes about 30 days, is what he said.
I brought this up at the last meeting, and I still don't understand it, so I'll try it again. The county thing, the permit comes from the county. The day that this happened, they would not go to my street because it's a private street. It's not
Right.
part of the county. I don't understand that.
Because that backflow is not their responsibility. So you as the resident have to call a plumber to come and fix it. They will not come look at it because they don't care.
All right, I
Yeah.
understand that part.
Right.
If I'm not part of the county, why am I paying the county? Why do I get?
You don't pay the county.
We don't.
If you're part of multifamily, you don't pay the county.
Where does the permit come from?
What's that?
Where does the permit come from?
It's a building
A permit is a building permit, just like you built, when your house is built, it's a permit for construction,
From
not
who?
from the county, but it's for construction.
From the county.
It's not, but it's not for water, it's not for that water. It's for,
They would not even go down.
and-
Water was gushing into the street.
Understood.
They would not go
It's
down.
not their, that's what I'm saying, that's not the county's issue. If there's water gushing over there, they don't, it's not their problem. They fix their pipe, that company that we use, it's the associations, if the leaks in the water was blown out on my side, I would have been running around looking for plumbers fixing it. I still was, but it was the resident's side.
Is that Oates that?
Yes, yeah, Oates Energy, it's Oates Energy. So but they don't manage the pipes on our side, we manage the pipes. The only thing Oates does is manage the box meter area.
They read the meter.
In the building.
Yeah.
That's it.
But the county does, so what happens is you send that bill to Oates Energy. Oates Energy's already paying the county for that water. And then Oates Energy takes the money that we paid the county, we pay the county for the water that goes to your section of the community. Let's say it's $8,000 for the month. That's not, but let's say it's $8,000 for the month. And then Oates Energy bills you for your usage. And then Oates Energy reimburses the association to pay us back for what we paid the county. So and all that, only reason that's done is because we as the association cannot charge you for a utility. I can't charge you for electricity, so like if we had a master meter of electricity, like when you live in a high-rise tower, the meters have to be subbed out and we have to hire another company to bill you so that we can get reimbursed for what we pay. And that's why when I say the county doesn't care what happens beyond that backflow. They'll walk right up to the backflow and they'll say, that's the backflow, that's yours. We'll see you later. If it's on the front side of the hill, if it's like where it was, then you saw the machines come out, they fix their problem, they put the dirt back, scratch it up, and go on out the front gate and say, hey, good luck, pull your water. And that's basically what happened. So when I said earlier about the replacement of this, these valves, there's two things you can do. One, you can have a plumber come out and tune up the one you have. It's gonna be a lot less, there's no permit involved, there's just materials. However, it's something you have to do more and more over time. If you're getting, this is an opportunity to pay a one-time deal to put it underground. Granted, it comes with a 12-month warranty, but it has a higher probability of success over the above-ground versions. So that's what you're up against.
Well, Hollow Beach Plumbing charges $320 to come out and rebuild the backflow preventer, because I was out of town when this happened, and
Yeah.
had to get him up there
Yeah.
to stop the leak, and that's what it cost. So
And that 320, did he rebuild it or did he put a straight pipe across there?
he had to put a straight pipe across to start with.
Right, and then
because
it'll come back.
He didn't have enough parts.
Right.
And he said when the parts come in, he had to put it back on or he would lose his license.
Exactly.
But that don't make sense to me, because what the county required starting around 2014 was a dual check valve. That's all it is. You know what it costs at Home Depot? $35.
Like, still dealing with a plumber?
Yeah.
And on an emergency basis?
Supposed to put it in.
The majority of
I would have done that originally, but when the HOA put it out, they said they were gonna bury your backflow preventer. I said, what good does that do if you put the same backflow or a backflow preventer underground? You have can have the same issue.
Well, the new one is not, it's,
No, nobody said we put a dual check valve in, because it's not gonna, I mean, it can fail, but the chances are
Much-
slim to none.
yeah, it's much lower than what you have now. And that's the point of this, is you're decreasing your likelihood of failure, is what it is.
Do you think it's possible, because there are so many people here, that we could lobby the county about getting a discount on our permit?
As in my conversation with the Zero, that, and now, I'm not, based on the conversation I had, he said that time has come and gone, the county, now they want their money. Before they did that, in the sense that it was, they saw the issue, they approved a new valve, and they allowed people for the replacement, they gave a grace period. It was maybe, let's say it was 4 months or 6 months, they gave that grace period, but once that grace period's up, they said they're not doing it anymore. Now, does that mean Zero for real? No, but just based off that conversation, no, they're not doing it. Now, you can try and go in and say, hey, we're wanting to do this, and they may say, sorry, we gave you that opportunity. But that's something that once you select a plumber, the plumber may be able to assist you with that as well. Say, hey, I've got 60 of these, let's go down and talk to the building department. He may know the head of the building department. He may be able to work something out. And that's where the power of volume, as well as working with a good quality plumber, will help. It's easier to get that help through them.
Okay. Based upon the number of people here that are interested in doing this, and I'm assuming you all are interested in doing this, can we ask you, as our director, based upon the guidelines that lady put forth, to go out and get 3, 4, 5 invitations to bid based on a quantity of 10 purchased, 20 purchased, whatever, and have the ball, for lack of a better term, go in your court as our representative?
In a sense, yes. I do need it. I will ask for some volunteers from this group to assist. And the reason is, as some people know, I have a very large issue going on in this community right now that would cause this to be a second tier item to work on. And that's what, to keep it moving, I would want volunteers to help with that. The landscaping issue in this community is a major issue right now, and it is taking up a lot of my staff and my time. So as much as I will, it's going to be something where we sit down one day and we put together a RFQ. We send it out to, we pick a batch of plumbers that, I'll circle the ones that I know to be reputable, and we can send an RFQ out to them. The things like writing up the RFQ and creating the list of things that you would want in that, I can sit down with the group and do that, and then hopefully somebody in that group could put together the request, and then we'll help get it out. Keeping the ball rolling for me right now would be the difficult part, just because of some of the challenges we're facing, and I don't want me to be the weak link in your moving forward. Now, the good thing is, if you don't have a serious problem right now, this is not one of those problems that's like, we've got to fix this by next week or you're in trouble. That's the good thing. The thing is, though, you don't want to let it linger forever, because it's going to come to a time where, if we take 6 months to get this done, yours is going to fail, and then you're going to have to pay the extra money. Then yours is going to fail. So the quicker we have a good price and we put together a plan and get working on it, the better it's going to be. But it's not something that is time sensitive to the effect of, we've got to have this done in 2 weeks. So yes, I'm absolutely willing to work with it. I just don't want to be the weak link in keeping this moving, because until we get past this landscaping issue, we're, along with the rest of the running of the community, that landscaping issue is our major, until August, the middle of August, that's going to be my primary focus, because we've got to get that resolved as well.
Well, we know that Henry Gonzalez has come out and done a couple individuals, for $379, what he told me over the door in the neighbor.
In the
That
original
was 2 weeks ago.
Now,
And so if it was a large enough group, I feel sure he'd get down in 350 range.
and that's what I believe too.
He charged, what, 300 the first go around?
Yeah,
I remember right, was
But now, he did charge that 300, the difference being that the permit was much cheaper. So that's what we're up
Get
against.
for 350, you probably
Yeah.
wouldn't get.
So the main goal you would be achieving is the likelihood of failure when we have maintenance done. Each year that, or each, you know, I can say day, but it's minuscule, but each year that goes by, the valves that are inside that box get more and more brittle. Now, you can have somebody, a plumber come out and fix it, and he was, in an emergency, it was $350. Replacing it is $350 to bury it underground if you do it when it's not an emergency. Generally speaking, when your backflow goes out, it's gonna be an emergency. The plumber's gonna have to rush over and take care of it. You're not gonna have worried water, so you're gonna pay $350. So right now, you're looking at, if I pay $350 now and get it buried underground, when there's construction done, or there's a valve shut down, when they come out and test something, or they have to fix this pipe, or something has to happen, if the county comes out and has a valve they have to repair, they come out and shut down the water, it's gonna shut your water down. Now, it may only be out for 15 minutes, but it doesn't matter. That pressure comes off your backflow. As soon as they turn back on, it hammers right back into it, and if that valve dries out in that 15 minutes, you're busted again. And again, this is not anybody mandating anyone to do it. This is just the reality of these older type valves and what happens with them. So this is an opportunity to band together as a group to get it done as cheap as possible, so that the next time we have a valve repair done, you're not the next one sitting there calling a plumber at 5, 6 o'clock on a Friday afternoon. Right, yes, because one lady paid $700. As the time went on, people were calling and getting a hold of the plumber. The price was going up because he was running from place to place. We had 3 plumbers in here running around that I know of, and I know each one they did, there was probably $25 more each time he had one to do. So it's kind of avoiding that emergency, and that's, we're obviously, we're getting down to smaller numbers of people who have the above ground in here, and this really may be the last chance that you have a bulk rate ability, because if most of this room does it, and you're the last 5 waiting, 5's not really much buying power. Whereas right now you're at, 40, 50 of them, and he can send a crew over here for 2, 3 days and pay their salary for the week when he's on a slow week. Because he may say, hey, if you wait till I've got this slow week here, I can do it cheaper. There's a lot of opportunity in bulk in this many people to get a good rate.
But maybe instead of going through this whole process of seeking out all these plumbers, what we want to do, Gonzalez has been in here, and
Sure.
he knows the job.
Mm-hmm.
He's been doing it.
I have no problem with that.
$379.
Yeah.
If we can get a better price from him,
Yeah.
fine.
I would
What do
agree.
you think? Why don't we just contact him and say, we've got this number of people that want to get this done.
Yeah, the wheel doesn't have to be recreated.
Henry Gonzalez, Henry, I can't even read it.
He's on there, I've seen him.
Yeah, but I mean, it would be so much simpler. I mean, why go through the process of getting all
That's
these plumbers in?
completely you guys' decision, and that's what,
I also suggest you don't call JNS, because I had experience with
Right.
him, because he was giving me estimates for other things. He said I needed this over here, and a
Sure.
valve here, and this
Upside.
thing here. And I'm going like, oh my God, I just moved in April, what do you expect? Did my home inspector fail me,
yeah, it's up to, yeah. And there are plumbers out there like that. Good.
Okay, I have to tell a horror story. We don't live here all the time, but when we come, everything should be in order, right? So, my neighbor calls me in Germany and says, your backflow's probably broken, it's leaking out there. I said, Tony, go over and shut my water off. He did that. I got on the phone, called Gonzalez from Germany, sent him 3 emails, called him and went through all kinds of crap to get this thing in order, and nothing happened, except that I sent him a check for $189 to cover half the bill.
And he didn't respond.
No. And then, after 3 more emails and 2 other calls or something, apparently his very dumb secretary, sitting there, I'm sorry to say that, but she wasn't following up on anything that I was telling her, and he didn't even know I was talking to her, I don't think. But anyway, the whole thing was, I sent an extra email in with urgent, we are coming on the so-and-so date in February, and we want to have water in our house. We got here at 10 o'clock that night, and there was no water in the house.
So he failed.
Yeah, and we did not know that this was not gonna happen, so the next morning, really early, got a hold of this fellow, what's his name, he told me about.
Apollo Beach.
Yeah, Apollo Beach Plumbing. He came right over, fixed it right away. What was it? $250.
Oh.
And that's rebuilding existing.
He had to put a new part on, the part cost so much, so they could blah, 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 blah. And then I went through the horror of trying to get my deposit money back from Gonzalez. Took 3 months. Finally, after 3 months of telephoning, sending letters and all this crap, he finally, sorry to use this language, but that's the way you feel about it when you're going through it. And you know the thing is, 3 months later, I get a check in the mail from Gonzalez for my money that I paid him. Okay, that's okay, great. I'm not trying to make Gonzalez bad, but the thing is, I ended up in the end spending $400 because,
Number one,
you know,
Apollo Beach won't do this job, okay, that's number one. So
Okay.
They're great, I have more to do my job.
yeah, he was great, they're great.
The point is that Gonzalez has done a lot of these in here. And how many people have had problems with Gonzalez as far as putting those in the ground?
I think that if you take that logical thinking that you're going down this road because Gonzalez has done this, Gonzalez has looked at it, Bustelo has been out here, there have been multiple companies that have been out here, which is why we're looking for the best offer, for the best benefit of the community. If you don't think so, that's your opinion. But we're getting screwed right now by the landscaping company. So let's not do it on these backflows, because we need to set it out for bid. That's the logical response.
Okay, is there three people in here that want to volunteer to help me with this or to head it up? One? Two? If I get one more. So there's either one. All right, so based on that, next Tuesday, is everyone here next Tuesday? Well, it's the three that are, yeah, she's gone. When are you, we're just busy Tuesday. What about Wednesday? Can I get a Wednesday? Is Wednesday okay? 10 a.m.? 12? You gonna take my lunch away from me? I'm kidding, that's fine. That's fine, I'm kidding. Because that meeting's not gonna take very long. Because really what we want to sit down and do is put our plan together. So next Wednesday at noon.
I just have one more question. This whole water problem started, as I heard, because of the tree roots getting into the...
No, two different issues.
Oh, okay.
It's two different issues.
Okay, so that's not likely to happen again.
Not in the way it occurred. I would never say it's not going to happen again, but not in the way it occurred. So the people who volunteered next Wednesday at noon. Good. Next Wednesday at noon, if we meet in my office, we'll sit down and we'll put together a game plan. Once we're done with that, I'll put out an email through the email system to everybody who came to let them know what we've looked into. If you want, if you want to be a part of that, by all means stop by. If we get, a few people we need to come in here, that's fine. But we'll sit to get down Wednesday at noon. We will absolutely look at, look at the issues of, is it worthwhile to bid it out to a lot of people? How many people do we want to send it to? We'll sit down then and see how much work that really needs to go into it. And I think that everyone here is looking for the best deal they can get. But you want, if you're going to do this, if you're going to pay for it, you want it done right. You want it inspected and you want it certified. So we'll make sure all those things are going to happen.
You're gonna send something out, I mean, there's some snowbirds and stuff.
Yeah.
My neighbor has said, well, I wanna be.
Sure, and if they responded, now they may not be here today, but if they responded to us, they went on that email list. So the emails that are gonna go out to that list from now on are only the people who responded that said they wanna be a part of it, and we will get any information after that meeting. I'll send out an update, hey, this is what we talked about, this is what we're gonna do moving forward. We'll keep you up to date as to what's happening. And then if you decide at some point, hey, you know what, I'm not gonna do this, no problem. You might still get a few more emails, but you don't have to be involved. But when the final decision comes and says, this is what it is, this is what it is, this is how much it is, that's your opportunity to say, yep, I'm in, no, I'm out. But in the meantime, you'll stay in communication, you'll know what's going on with it. Is that fair to everyone?
Yep.
We didn't sign anything.
No, you won't. This is did you send an email saying you want to be a part of this?
No, I didn't either.
So send Ashley an email saying Ashley, or A Delgado 01. If you, A Delgado 01 at castlegroup.com. If you send her an email saying you want to be a part of this list, we'll add you to the list.
Don't forget the 01.
Yeah, don't forget the 01. At castlegroup.com. And then, if you send her that email, if you have not yet, she will put you on the email list so that when we send communication, it comes to you. And that'll include you.
Once we find someone to do this, whoever, we all decide to stay like there, what's not, is there gonna be message like, cause we're on this list, but the people that are on the list, like my neighbor, I know I don't see any of my neighbors here, and they've got the backflows above ground, and shouldn't the population know that this is available, and if they want to be part of putting it on the ground, they didn't have a problem with it.
Yeah. Here's the issue with doing that, and I will tell you from vast experience. If I send the information that's coming from these meetings out to everyone, someone's not going to know what we're talking about, and I will field 72 phone calls about what's up. If you know of somebody who is not receiving the emails, we're down to a smaller group. It's just multifamily, and it's the ones with the above. If they're interested, we've sent out an email asking to the entire community.
Okay.
And we will send another one. Once we do this, maybe I'll send the next one out, and I'll probably send another email that says, hey, if you didn't respond and you're still interested, we're getting ready to move forward. This is your last chance to be part of the group.
Because some people aren't.
We can do that, absolutely. That's
Because
not,
I think some people aren't paying attention because they didn't have a problem.
Right.
And they can wait till like,
Right.
we're gonna maybe have a thing, they might have done this, and then they won't.
yeah, now that we've stepped away from the problem, people are thinking catastrophe, they might see that it's just, yes, and I completely understand. The more mass emails I send, it's like I might as well take 2 days away from the staff because they're just gonna feel phone calls.
Well, I just heard people talking and saying like, well, if they help us, a small group, I didn't get help.
Right.
But this way, you're opening it up to
Sure.
them if they're interested,
And
and
then
they want to step up.
And if you see a neighbor who has an above ground backflow and you ask them, tell them to send an email to Ashley and they can send it to me. It's just, I'm trying to keep one focused so that until we get a mass email set up and then it's going out, it's already being worked. Until we have that, I want to keep it focused so we see it come in. Because we receive a lot of emails every day, and if it's sent to me and it gets in that long email stack, and we don't want anybody to be missing.
But you don't want to have a back issue where everybody's complaining, oh, you mean these people get to do it and we don't?
Yeah, we're gonna have, it's gonna happen.
We call the people.
Yeah, but we will try, we are trying to be as inclusive to everyone as we can. To continue meetings with groups this size, makes it, we won't get moving forward, so I want to cut it down to a work group, and then we can put all the information out.
Thank you.
Anything else?
What if you put it in the scoop?
Yeah, put something in the scoop to let people know, because some people don't get the emails, or they don't even have emails.
Right.
So, it is another way to notify people.
Yeah, can you remind me this month, and I'll do that.
I'm sorry,
Tell Heather to remind me when the scoop goes out.
okay.
Just put it on, I don't know, put a thing, so when we do the scoop, we'll put something in there. Yeah, we can do that. That's easy enough. I just have to remember. But we'll try to get something in the scoop. There's,
Me? Are you going to choose your volunteers today, or?
They already did. They'll, will you raise your hands? Yeah.
For DJ? Okay.
Yeah.
Just two?
No,
3.
3.
Oh, 4. So will you guys see Ashley before you leave? Just make sure she has your contact info. And then we'll put, that way we'll send an email to you to remind. Wednesday at noon, that group is meeting. Yeah. All right, that's all we got now, guys. Thank you for coming.